and the timer as well. And Zach. Okay. I'd like to end this very, very, very fun round with 3 voting issues. But first, let's look at the resolutional analysis. And this is probably one of the most crucial things. My opponent said still that privacy is not moral. However, he brought up again that terrorists can use privacy to plan to do wrong actions. The fact is, though, that that planning actually doesn't violate anyone's rights. And so that planning actually is not immoral. It's not moral or immoral. And so that planning may be immoral. However, the privacy of the action that is immoral, when they actually kill someone, is not within the definition of privacy that we've actually explicitly stated in this round. So the definition still remains in this round. But even if you do like the negative definition, I'm going to show you through these 3 voting issues how actually that privacy actually is still undervalued. The first voting issue is that human dignity is the best standard. Human dignity is the best standard. Now my first point here is that human dignity is consistent. As I stated in my last speech, every time human dignity is violated, then that's when we know privacy is undervalued. Every time privacy is undervalued means that human dignity is violated, which means that it's a consistent measuring stick. We can consistently tell when privacy is undervalued, which is not the same for my opponent's value. Also, it's not circular. The definitions are completely different. I urge you to look on the flow. The definitions are not the same at all, so I don't know where my opponent is coming and saying they're the same thing. However, looking at my opponent's value of national security, it still is self-conflicting because my opponent essentially defined it as a protection of a people's interest. Japan was trying to advance its people's interest by global domination. That was their interest. And that was a bad interest, but it was still their interest. And so there's a conflict of interest here between their national security and the United States' protection of their interest. And so national security still is self-inflicted. My second voting issue is that the proper purpose of privacy is to protect human dignity. And we saw this through Griswold v. Connecticut, the reasoning of which I don't believe was ever successfully addressed. My opponent said that it's circular. However, look at the definitions. They're completely different. Human dignity is the inherent worth of a person, whereas privacy is the freedom from intrusion. Completely different things. My final voting issue is that privacy is undervalued. Looking at the applications, Calabretta versus Floyd, under Calabretta versus Floyd and euthanasia, my opponent said these were property rights. However, under the definition, as we show, this is clearly a violation of either life or liberty. And so essentially it was a violation of human dignity. My opponent never really provided a warrant as to why it was not. Under slavery, I believe that the example of slavery in southern Sudan does actually just prove to be a wash with my opponent's example of South Sudan. So we both provided examples of privacy conflicting in both these areas. It really is a wash. However, looking at my opponent's own final contention, it's not current. And so my opponent agreed it's not current. And so my opponent has failed to prove to you any examples of where privacy is currently overvalued or properly valued. He hasn't done it. And so I believe that the weight of the evidence leans toward the affirmative, and that privacy, in the end of the day, is actually undervalued. Thank you.